It's Preptober and you don't have an idea yet. Never fear, I'm going to share mine with you. If you can't think of something to write, go back to your drawer where you have shelved those old stories. Maybe an incomplete novel. Maybe a short story that you loved that would make a really good story. Maybe a novel that you finished but you'd like to revisit those characters. And if you honestly don't have an idea at all, you've never written anything you're proud of, and come on, like, no false modesty here, it's just you and me, you can say that story was good or that novel was good. But if you honestly have never written anything before, and this is your very first time, then go back to the classics. Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty. Neil Gaiman took Snow White and rewrote it as a, spoiler, vampire story. Marissa Myers rewrote Cinderella as cyberpunk space odyssey. So once upon a time, it was a girl named Cinderella, and she left her shoe at a ball. Prince, who was fascinated by this woman's feet, seemed to not remember what her face looked like, and sent out a decree that every woman in the land must try on the shoe. You'd, like, seriously, like, you don't even know her hair color? Maybe one or two of them also lost a shoe that night. But seriously, every woman in the land? Why did they try on the shoe? Surely some of them knew it wasn't theirs. And this was a very interesting question to me, and I wrote a story about it. 1,500 words. Make her smile, and it was nice. And it didn't go much further than that. Print publication, and the other was the online publication. And I submitted. Didn't do anything to it, just sent my rather unedited short story, and it was published in both. And I got paid $5 for my first story. Now I'm a paid author. And a writing contest came across my desk called The Glass Woman. Now, this reminded me of my story, The Glass Slipper. And I thought, I'll submit it. And it got honorable mention. No money this time, but hey, published again. It's awesome. A year later, a local competition at Eden Mills in Ontario, quite prestigious, had a competition, but they had a word count of 800 words. Well, I had to cut the story almost in half to meet it. And I did. And I won. And I had to read it out loud as part of... I had to read it. I got to read it loud as if I were a published author at the event. And visit the green room and be treated like a regular author. It was a wonderful prize, even though, again, no money. It's published online. You can read it in my Patreon account. I'm quite proud of it. It's still one of my favorite things I've written, ever. And here comes NaNoWriMo, and I'm thinking it's about time I made a real effort to write a love story, or at least a romance. But the thing is, I don't like romances. And where am I going to get these characters from? Where am I going to get the plot? Well, don't I just have this amazing Cinderella story that I love? What if I twist it again? Except instead of making it shorter this time, instead of making it a play on the original Cinderella story from the perspective of somebody who tried on one of these shoes, maybe instead what I'll do is I'll modernize it. Set it today, set it here in Australia, set it in my country town. What would happen then? I've got all my scenes, I've got all my characters. I outlined it on the veranda. And if I do nothing else for all of October, and I'm not going to do nothing else because that's no fun, but if I did, I'm ready for NaNoWriMo. Because I've done the work, and I've lived with this story for years. So why am I sharing my story ideas with you? Why do I not worry about you stealing my idea? Because you can't. Because I am the only person that can tell this story. And if you took every idea that I just laid out for you, and you wrote it exactly as I've described it, it would still be a completely different story than the one I'm describing to you now, the one that I write, because we can't write the same story, because I'm the only one that can tell this one, and you are the only person who can tell yours, and the world needs to hear it. We need these unique voices. Representation matters, and we need your story, so go write it. Keep writing. And if you want to outline a little bit more and want to see how I outlined like R.L. Stine on the veranda, check out this video here.